welcome back to EPA Worldwide. EPA Worldwide, as we know by now, it is a channel where we are aiming at raising an awareness to help minimize mental health illness in children. But our focus here is parental alienation. EPA simply means educating public on parental alienation. What is parental alienation? Parental alienation is simply one parent using a child against the other, manipulating the child emotionally, psychologically, behaviorally, making the child hate the other parent. It can be done by a father and it can be done by a mother. A father can be the alienating parent or the targeted parent. And then a mother can also be an alienating parent or a targeted parent. Me, in my case, I am a victim. So I am the targeted parent. And that being said, I'm going to start introducing myself and we continue with this week's episode. So this week's episode is going to address the fact that parental alienation is or is not a form of mental illness. They said a child has parental alienation syndrome. Is it a diagnosis? Is it a mental health disorder? Is it not? And we are also going to address in this video tactics that the alienating parent does use to manipulate the child, and it can be detrimental to the health of the child, and it can affect the child the whole lifespan. Thank you for listening. But that being said, let me introduce myself. My name is Mamle Yoko Godwins, and I am originally a Ghanaian. I reside in the United States, and I am a single mother of 2 boys. I am a practicing mental health nurse, but I also practice as a message nurse sometimes, telemetry message, and I also will soon become a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And the year 2019 has brought this topic so close to my heart based on experience as a victim and also based on knowledge through my education. And I want to bring this awareness because it is not much spoken about, but there is so much research on it. There is so much data on how it can affect a child. So that being said, I'm going to go in, and in this channel, I'm going to use a lot of data to back up whatever I say. I'm going to use a lot of evidence. I'm going to use a lot of research. So that being said, once again, thank you for coming here to EPA Worldwide. If you haven't subscribed yet, you are here already. You might as well click, like, and share with your friends and family. It's not costly. It is free to subscribe. It's free to like. It's free to share. We are also open to comments and suggestions. This is a very new channel, and we are welcoming suggestions to how we can improve and serve the community better, basically bring this awareness and educate people about what it is, how it can affect our children, how it can, and eventually, strategies that we can use to prevent it. And so I'm going to dive into it. I found a study that was a 12-year extensive review done by Clewar, CLAWAR, and Rivlin, RIVLIN. This was conducted in 1991. So it is noted that by this study that, and it is also by a legal team. So if it's by a legal team, you know that they have had cases that will warrant them doing this or coming up with this data. Parental alienation is something that is majority of cases are caused due to highly litigated custody battles, divorce cases, and stuff like that, where one parent wants to use the case against the other parent. And it can be very detrimental. I'm a victim. My kids have been through it, and I'm telling you, it is very detrimental. Thank goodness I am resolving it. I am taking actions. I have my kids are very doing fine, and we are coming along very great. But this research has said the fact that noted the fact that 86% of every 1,000 case, if you put 1,000 children down, cases of parental alienation case of children or court cases they have had, for every 1,000 cases of domestic violence or divorce cases or highly litigated custody battles, for each 1,000 case, 86% of this are associated with parental programming and brainwashing in an event to implant false and negative ideas about another parent to the child. False implanting, one parent implanting false, negative, and deceitful things that is not true about one parent to the other. And the intention, basically the intention is what? To turn the child against one parent. So the child develop favoritism for one parent over the other. Having a parent is an identity. Every child needs a mother. Every child needs their father in their lives. So if you want to use the child against one parent, what good are you doing to a child? You see, so it is very detrimental. And based on my experience, the children, they go by what they feel, what they see. So eventually, they will start making their own decisions. In some cases, the children grow up to truly hate the targeted parent forever. I had an issue last, this is really Friday night. Yeah, Friday night I worked, and the co-worker was telling me his children are old, 3 children to today. It is recently that the oldest one that finished college came to visit him. The 20-year-old to today refused to pay a visit. The 17-year-old the same. Of course, the 17-year-old is still considered a minor under the law because he's not 18 years yet. He showed me records where every pay period he puts $100 each into the children's account, all 3 of them. But these children have refused to have a relationship with him. He bought them phones, everything, but they will not even call on him. If he wants to see them, he has to travel to, for privacy's sake of his privacy, I'm not going to state the state. To travel, pay for hotel, everything, and lodge before in the town where the kids are before he will see his children. And this is very unnecessary. It is very important that children have a relationship with both father and mother regardless of what the circumstances are. I can understand that there will be issues where there has been a neglect on one part of the parent or an absentee parent and stuff like that. But whenever a parent is interested in having a relationship with their children, in instances of divorce, separation, co-parenting situations, it's very important that parents work together to bring sanity, unity in the lives of their children. It's already chaotic for the kids enough. Living in one single parent home, having to deal with all the stigma and everything people has to say. So let's try to make it more pleasant and try to bring a near normal sanity, a near normal harmonious home and environment for the kids. That's all I'm saying. That's all EPA worldwide is about. So this study, they have break down this data, and I'm going to read this. It says the findings of this study has broken the parents who program and brainwash the child, the percentage of parents for each 1,000 cases, 23% of the parents, the alienating parent, more than once a day has done what? Programming and brainwashing of a child against the other parent. 22% of the time of the case, 22% of the each 1,000 case, about one per day, a parent per day does alienation and alienating, or take actions, or have said something negative, or have tried to use the child negatively, or said things negative about the other person against to the child, so the child will develop hatefulness for the other parent. 12% of the time, more than once a week. 12% out of this, for each 1,000 cases, has made an attempt to brainwash and manipulate and program the child against another parent. 8% has done it per week, and then 21% does it occasionally. 14% programming and brainwashing. 14% does not. So for each 1,000 cases, only 14% do not do or make efforts to alienate their children from another parent or alter the relationship, otherwise normal relationship that a child would have with their other parent. Only 14 hasn't done that, but for a total of 86% has attempted alienating habits. Okay, now, is this a mental health disorder or is it not? To make this video short, I think I'm going to make another video where I will talk about the tactics that alienating targeted parents use, alienating parents use to distract children. But let's see how it goes. If not, I can start it and finish in another episode. Is this a mental health diagnosis? Is it a mental health disorder? Is it not? Now, we all know, I don't know, maybe some of us don't know, but DSM-5 is a statistical manual that is used to determine certain diagnosis, mental health diagnosis. If you have bipolar, if you have depression, if you have schizophrenia, anything, it's a manual, or it is a criteria. They have criteria set in this book that is used to determine if somebody, you have cluster of symptoms. They use based on that to give you diagnosis, and that is what this is about. So if you look at Dr. William Burnett, a professor of psychology at the University of Vanderbilt School of Medicine, in 2010, stated that I'm sorry guys, parental alienation disorder is a mental condition in which a child, usually one whose parent is engaged in a high conflict divorce, allies himself or herself strongly with one parent and rejects a relationship with the other parent without legitimate justification. In most cases, that's what happens. My children at some point were very hateful. Not all of them, but I have two boys. One of they have presented certain behaviors. But what helped them to change those things is my consistency. I remained the same mother they knew from day one. I remained the mother who is strict and principled. I remained the mother who still loved them despite my high level of principle and values. You still have to follow the rules. I love you, yes, but you still have to follow the rules. I love you, yes, but it doesn't mean that if you are wrong, I can correct you. I don't care what anybody is saying. If you are starving, you are still my child. I still love you. I'm still going to protect you, provide for you, feed you, clothe you. So my consistency, my exhibition of love regardless of being the targeted parent, my exhibition of care, affection towards them in a healthy way ignoring everything going on in the atmosphere and in the background, has helped them to come to where we are today, where they love me, I love them, and nothing is separating them away from me. If you see the child that used to be almost like a bully of me, today is a different story. He hates to see me in pain. He hates to see me. Naturally, that is who he is, but another parent tried to alter that. But what changed that? What changed the conscience and realization that the things I'm being told is truly not accurate about my mother is my consistency and the love and affection I presented to him. You see, so this is said by Dr. Bennett that this is actually a mental health problem. Do you really want to see your children growing up with labels, mental health diagnosis, unhealthy structure? I don't think you want that. And that is what EPA Worldwide is about. Trying to bring you the awareness to understand what parental alienation syndrome is, what it can cause your child. I found a research that it talked about how the gender effect on the male child. And I'm going to make another video in the future about that. So, like I said, probably I'll put this video in two so that it's not too long. So this is basically telling you that parental alienation, it is something that has been there. Study backs it. Extensive research has backed it that it is detrimental to our children. We have statistics supporting it. We also have Dr. Bennett telling us, and it's evidence in the DSM-5 that parental alienation, in fact, is a mental health problem. That if we as parents don't change that, we as parents don't change our behaviors, our relation, the way we relate with our children and our opposite partner, even though regardless of whether we are separated, married, divorced, how it can affect our children. So thank you all for understanding that parental alienation syndrome is in fact a mental health disorder. It's in fact something that can affect the children for a long time, and it's in fact something that we can all raise this awareness together and stop it through behavior change, through cognitive behavior change, our mindset, our feelings, our attitude towards each other. Let love reign. Let's love lead. Let's come together. Let's make a change. Let's change this motive of a child has to love me and hate another child. Mainly, in my instance, if I say these things about my child, my other partner, to the child, when we go to court, it comes naturally for the child to lie about the mother. It comes naturally for the child to say these things when they were much younger. And that is how it all happened. Now, they even chose to be rather with the targeted parent. But I still make it clear you need both parents. You still have a father. You still have to have a relationship with your father. You still have to love your father. He is still your father. And that is very important that we make this case realize that at the end of the day, it is their decision to want the relationship with their father or not, want a relationship with their mother or not. But the goal is for both of us, mothers and fathers, to come together to provide a harmonious foundation, a firm, sound, mentally sensitive, child-focused upbringing for our children, and put our differences aside. Thank you, and I'm gonna do another video right now on the tactics, because that was my topic I was gonna address today. Tactics. In the previous video I talked about, the very first video I talked about, I'm gonna talk about the signs and symptoms a child presents. I did that video, but I don't know how to edit. I'm still working on it, so I need some things done on it. So I'm going to hold on to that video for a little bit, but I'm going to do another one right now after this one, so we know how some parents use the tactics they use. Thank you all, and see you now soon in the next episode. If you haven't loved us yet, like us. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly subscribe. If you haven't shared yet, kindly start sharing. What are you waiting for? You are here already. You might as well click share and like and subscribe. Thank you all, and have a wonderful afternoon.